Moving on to my next slide, which is again to talk about why big data is being used today and what's the kind of benefits that companies are looking at. So one of the key things that we have seen is that the adoption of analytics is actually driving real change in the way companies are operating, especially in realizing competitive advantage. So here are some facts which show that today there's been a tremendous increase, and as of 2012, there were about 63% of the companies reporting that they're actually using big data to create competitive advantage. In some companies' case, it actually goes to the extent of even creating a new business model. So there are two good things here. One is we see two aspects to see. One is that there is quite a lot of companies looking at big data for competitive advantage. So that means a lot more focus on optimizing your marketing, a lot more focus on understanding your customers and managing your campaigns better and things like this. But it also means that there is quite a lot of customers, 37% customers in this case, who are still looking at big data as a pure technology initiatives and maybe not getting the same competitive advantage that others are getting. So one of the increasing focus today that we see across companies in various sectors is that what can we do to get the real value out of big data? So how does it shift from being a pure technology initiative to becoming a pure business-led initiative? So that seems to be the recurring theme for many organizations today. And this chart goes in a way to reflect that theme. So let me summarize what I have been discussing in big data and analytics so far before I move into the use cases of various sectors. So this is the next slide, which is talking about how big data has moved from the traditional focus of storing a lot of data, so from bytes storage as I call it here, to more of delivering insights. So today the need for that is that one is, of course, we all know that unstructured data is kind of exploding. I mean, today companies have access to tremendous amount of unstructured data, whether it's emails or videos or photos or social media posts. So that a quantum of data has been growing. So that's something that companies have to contend with. The second thing is that no longer do we have to throw away any information. So earlier the emphasis was always on how to optimize storage, but today we are in an age where we are asking, can we afford to throw away any information, because storage costs have become very low. So today the infrastructure is available, the facility is available to ensure that tools can process terabytes of data and faster and cheaper. So storage costs have become low. And what we have seen is that the research after research, survey after survey has proven that big data analytics actually leads to huge productivity gains. So whatever be the sector, whether it's banking or healthcare or insurance. So analytics is not beyond the reach anymore of many companies, whether it's small or big, whatever be the sector. So what we see today is that you can derive a lot of value out of analytics, and you can do it in real time, and you can do it really cheap and faster. So this is in a way summarizing what companies have come to realize about big data and analytics. And therefore, having given this introduction, now we are in a position to move towards specific use cases, whether it is bank or insurance or telco. I am just going to take 3 sectors, but hopefully this applies to all the other sectors, and you can see a lot more transformational opportunities if you get the crux of what I'm talking about today. So one of the other questions that always comes up is, okay, given that big data has a lot of business potential, so what about the technology angle? So how do we ensure that one has built a huge data warehouse and the business intelligence, technology architecture? How do I ensure that this architecture coexists with big data? So does it mean I have to throw away all that investments that I have made into data warehousing? So how do I kind of leverage or combine these two, or how do I synergize these two aspects of data management? So the good news is that actually EDW and big data coexist. This is what most of the successful companies which have run big data pilots and we are leveraging on big data have realized. That the only thing is that the approach and the focus is quite different in both cases. So as you can see from the slide here, if you look at the traditional or the classical enterprise data warehouse method, the approach has been like this. The business determines what questions to ask. So people go and collect the requirements from the business. The business tells, these are the kind of analysis I want to do. This is the kind of slicing and dicing I want to do. This is the extent of drill down I want to do. And then the classic enterprise data warehouse method is to ensure that we build a repository which will provide you that kind of structured and repeatable analysis. So then IT structures the discussions around those questions, right? So here the essence is about capturing only what data is required. So this has been traditionally the theme of data warehousing, and this has been quite successful, and it will continue to be so. Whereas if you look at the method of big data, it is about providing a platform for storing and analyzing all kinds of data sources, irrespective of where it comes from, in what form, in what kind of real-time or non-real-time basis. So all we are saying is that capture all the data about your business and don't worry about whether this makes sense right now or not. You get all the information that you want, and then use your big data methods, which will provide all kinds of multi-structured analysis. It could be your sentiment analysis or it could be your text analysis. So one does all this with the data that's accumulated, and then the business gets into an exploration mode and then finds out what are the questions worth asking. What is it that we don't know yet about our customers? What is it that we can do differently as far as our customers are concerned? So the whole idea is the reverse of what EDW does, and therefore one can have an hybrid approach. One can have both. I mean, you can have a EDW approach as well as the big data approach to ensure that they coexist. So there are various technologies today to ensure that these don't operate in silos, that we can have the same platform. There are technology vendors who provide the same platform to ensure your traditional data warehouses coexist your big data kind of approach and analysis. So this is something that I want to emphasize right at the beginning, so that you don't see big data as something that is going to throw away all the investments that have been made in the existing current data warehouse infrastructure. So the other interesting thing from a technology perspective that we are seeing, so I moved on to the next slide, which is talking about how data warehouses today coexist also with other related technologies. So what we are seeing today in the market is that data warehouse and business intelligence collaborates with disruptive technology areas to leverage the power of big data. So it could be cloud, or it could be your customer experience management, or it could be mobility. So what we are seeing is that an integration across these various solutions and various practices. So you can see several new things happening here. It could be clickstream analytics, it could be your social media analytics, location-based services, mobile-based business intelligence. So all of them are coming together, and big data is impacted by this kind of convergence of these various technologies and solutions. So this is the introduction that I wanted to give you. It has taken a little bit more than I have planned. Let me quickly go through some of these use cases that